person, the victim.
Paul Huttner in for Bud Kraling again today for the probably most eagerly awaited forecast of the week, the weekend forecast.
Yes, eagerly awaited. Eagerly received, I don't know.
Today, maybe not.
You talked about TV watching for the North Stars game. Well,
Yeah.
Saturday may be the day to stay in and watch television. Sunday, the sunnier, nicer day
Going to
this
help
weekend.
out a little bit, huh?
Yes,
It was
indeed.
cold this morning, very cold.
Yeah, and I'll be the first one to admit we're about 10 degrees below the forecast high for this afternoon. We got socked in with some clouds, and it appears that that may be the case for much of this afternoon. It is Friday, but we can escape the cold weather with our Friday edition of Huttner's Weather Lexicon, A to Z. And today, M. Cumulonimbus mammatus, or mama clouds. Those are those lumpy globular clouds that you see hanging from the underside of severe thunderstorms. Now, cumulonimbus mammatus are often mistaken for tornado-producing clouds, but they do not produce tornadoes. And while they are caused by turbulence in the atmosphere, they are not tornado producers. They do not themselves produce severe weather. Kind of a fool's funnel cloud, cumulonimbus mammatus. No mammatus in the Twin Cities right now, but a cold wind-driven rain. Our temperature at 50 degrees with a dew point of 46, humidity at 86%. We have a gusty northeast wind, 21 miles per hour, and our barometer right now is on the rise. Well, let's cut right to the chase. Our Storm Center 4 Doppler radar this afternoon showing a stripe of precipitation from Wilmer through Hutchinson right through the center part of the Twin Cities, and then stretching on over to Eau Claire. This is light to moderate precipitation, but it is not moving quickly. The result, we're going to be socked in for much of this afternoon. On the broader picture, our satellite from last night shows a swirl of cloudiness down in Nebraska. That's the upper level low that brought us our thunderstorms last night. Today, it's riding up and over this colder air that we have to the north, and we're going to stay right under this band of clouds. Up north, they have some sunshine this afternoon, and where they do, temperatures are already in the 60s from Bismarck through Fargo over to Bemidji. Under the clouds, though, holding in the 50s, and we are going to stay there for most of this afternoon. Here's what's going on today, the culprit for our dismal weather. Low pressure centered down about Omaha, Nebraska, and a stationary front, warm air riding up and over that front. That's going to keep us in the rain. It is moving slowly off to the east, but not quickly enough to salvage Saturday. It looks like it will be rather on the cloudy and chilly side with some morning showers. So where's the good news in the forecast? Sunday and the upper winds. A big ridge of high pressure will be building up in the upper atmosphere. That's going to mean warm weather for the Twin Cities by Sunday, and by next Tuesday, this persistent ridge is going to mean that this hot weather is going to make it up to the north. We could see 90 once again in the Twin Cities by next Tuesday. Well, here's our forecast for this afternoon. Ugly, I'm afraid, in a word. Wind advisory in effect, cloudy, windy, cold. A steady rain today, our high near 55, and northeast winds 15 to 25. For tonight, cloudy, windy with a few showers, 46 for the overnight low, northeast to east at 10 to 20. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, morning showers, breezy and cool. It may dry out towards afternoon. High tomorrow about 65 with an east wind. Sunday, definitely the sunnier, nicer day this weekend. Finally, partly cloudy skies and warmer. Our high Sunday near 75. Now, I've given you the forecast in words. Let me show you what it should look and sound like in the Twin Cities this afternoon with one difference. There's going to be a lot of wind out there today.
So the story is get your chores done on Saturday and have the fun on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. In our Dimension today, another look at our follow-up to a series last November called The Iron Crib, the Orphans of Romania. More than 100 Minnesota families have since.
From WCCO Television, the community's first choice for news in the 90s. This is Bill Carlson, Darian Ward, and Bud Kraling. And this is the News at Noon.
Black clouds turn the morning into night and dump more rain on Minnesota. The fields are still too soggy for many farmers to plant, and in the city, many people found themselves waiting to work, and a lot of cars didn't make it in. Good afternoon, everyone. Bill Carlson has the day off. Well, 1 minute it's clear skies and the next it's pouring rain. Unfortunately, today's storm hit right at the height of rush hour, stranding many motorists. Even though it's now sunny in many parts of Minnesota, the ground is incredibly soggy. And that's causing some problems. And Alan Cox joins us from a Columbia golf course in northeast Minneapolis. And Alan, what kind of problems are you seeing there?
Well, the big problem I'm seeing for the golf course here is there are no golfers, even though it's a Friday afternoon. I'm standing just off the ninth hole of the golf course. The fairway is out of the water, but as you can see, the obstacle here has suddenly become a water one instead of just rough grass. They've had this golf course closed most of the week, and they say it's the worst season, the worst spring for golfers they can remember in several years here, many of them discouraged from coming out. As you point out, Darian, it was a rush hour storm, a little unusual in that it was a morning rush hour instead of an afternoon this time, accompanied by more lightning than we've seen the last few times of the storms. No reports of damage or injury from the lightning, but there was from all the water. Sewers in Minneapolis, especially in the north side of Minneapolis, overflowed from all the surplus. PJ's Grocery at 925 8th Avenue North was flooded. 3 people needed help from emergency workers to get out of the grocery, which is a little bit below ground level, the water cascading down the steps. Minneapolis Sewer Department says there's no maintenance problem with the sewers in the city. It's just too much water too quickly. And it was a problem for drivers getting into work. Some of them tried to escape water like this on Emerson Avenue in North Minneapolis by going onto side streets, and then managed to flood themselves out by making a bad move. Rental stores are reporting a big business in renting cleanup equipment, some of which went to the Trinity Tabernacle Church on the north side of Minneapolis. The pastor there says he's anxious to clean up the water that came through the ceiling into the church because he has a wedding scheduled there tomorrow afternoon. It's his daughter getting married. Back here at the golf course, they say that they hope that they will be able to let golfers back out here tomorrow at least. But they say with forecasts of more rain coming, that doesn't sound likely either. Darian?
All right, I guess I better hang it up for the weekend. Thank you, Alan. Well, the storm's passed, or will there be more wet weather heading our way? Paul Huttner joins us from the Weather Center to let us know what's going on with all this rain. Paul?
Well, Darian, it was another wild morning in the Twin Cities after yesterday's funnels. Another batch of thunderstorms this morning that did drop torrential rain, some small hail, and did cause some of that street flooding as we saw. Now, it's not unusual to get that kind of rain this time of year, but the reason for so much flooding, the ground is saturated. Fortunately, things are quieting down right now, and a live look at our Storm Center 4 Doppler radar is showing an arc of thunderstorms stretching from Duluth down to east of Eau Claire and to the Iowa border. All that is moving away from the Twin Cities. It looks like we'll see a short break this afternoon, Darian. Things will quiet down for the next few hours.
All right, finally. Thank you, Paul. Our other local headline story today is a And where were you when this storm hit?
Well, I got shook out of bed by a phone call very early this morning to come in and mind the store. I beat the storm in here. Fortunately, I did not have to drive in it, but many people did.
Terrible. I was out early this morning with Orly Knutson. It was light, and then it got dark, and we could barely see outside.
Yeah, a very green-looking sky once again, very typical of the storms we've had this past week. And, you know, the flooding that's going on, too. We're about 5 inches above normal on precipitation this year.
And rising.
And rising, and so the ground is completely saturated. It's not unusual to get these kind of rainstorms this type of year, but when you get them one after the other after the other.
I know. Take your umbrellas with you, and also it's bad driving on those roads. I understand that the brakes don't work the same when they've been flooded.
You've got to slow down. You start hydroplaning at about 35 miles an hour on most cars, so slow it down when you see that standing water.
Okay.
We have a little bit of a respite right now in the Twin Cities. Our skies are actually partly sunny, if you can believe that. Some peaks of sunshine during the past hour or two. 74, our current Twin Cities temperature with a tropical dew point at 68 degrees. Humidity high, 82%, winds east at 9. And the barometer 2969, it is now rising since those thunderstorms have gone by us. It has been a busy week here in the WCCO Weather Center and for meteorologists all across Minnesota. I put together a little history of what's happened this week. Sunday night, it all got started, midnight to 2 a.m. We had those thunderstorms that developed just to the south of the Twin Cities and did cause some torrential rains, some street flooding with those as well as they came on through. And then round 2, Tuesday morning, 7 to 10, you remember that one? Yep, the hardest hit places then were Slayton, where hail covered the ground the size of quarters, and also some wind damage at Arlington and at Red Wing, where they had 50-mile-per-hour winds. Now, as if that wasn't enough, then came Tuesday night, and the sky was lit up with a bright display of lightning as those thunderstorms that developed in South Dakota rumbled all the way across the state. They did produce severe weather all across southern Minnesota and in the Twin Cities as well. A lot of wind damage, Circle Pines, White Bear Lake, and in the Minneapolis area as well. Well, things quieted down briefly for Wednesday, which was a cakewalk by comparison, but then we had yesterday when those funnel clouds began to develop in central Minnesota from 3 to 5 o'clock. The police reported tornadoes on the ground near Dassel, near Kimball, and also near St. Cloud. And as if that wasn't good enough, that's when things got interesting in the Twin Cities. It was yesterday afternoon when the torrential rains began to fall down all around the Twin Cities, and we did have a very eerie-looking sky and reports of several funnel clouds. One tornado touchdown confirmed in Bloomington, and then several funnel clouds in Bloomington, all across from 312 to about 325 yesterday afternoon. There were many, many sightings of that funnel cloud, but that storm finally dissipated and moved off to the east. Then came this morning's activity once again, and it got green and it got dark, and there was lightning in the sky, and the rains were once again torrential, just to kind of cap off a busy weekend. Yes, the farmers are the ones who are really hurting. They are way behind schedule on planting, and things do not look better as far as a prolonged dry period here in the Twin Cities. Right now, things are quieting down, and a live look at our Doppler radar shows the thunderstorms exiting now through Wisconsin. Everything's moving to the northeast about 40 miles per hour. And it's been brought to my attention that a lot of people do not know exactly where they are on this Doppler radar display. Let's just take a look at it for a minute. This is the 7-county metro area here. Here's the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin. And so you see Owatonna, Mankato, Hutchinson, St. Cloud, up to the north, Brainerd and Pine City, Grantsburg, Spooner, and Rice Lake off to the east. Now we're going to drop ranges down a little bit. This is a display that we use quite a bit here, the 75-mile range of the Doppler. And this is a closer in shot of the Twin Cities with these counties in here. Here's Hennepin County, Minneapolis, all the suburbs, Ramsey County, which is where St. Paul is, Washington County, Anoka County up to the north, and Dakota and Scott down to the south. Remember these. We're going to show you this radar again a lot the next few days, and you may want to know exactly where you are. Now during this weekend, the upper winds are still stuck in this pattern. Warm air, high pressure here, a low out to the west. The jet stream here, that means sticky air and more showers and thunderstorms through the weekend. Well, our Twin Cities forecast for this afternoon, partly sunny, warm and humid. More thunderstorms are possible later today, our high about 80 with the southeast wind. For tonight, continued humid, more storms likely this evening, 65 for the overnight low, southeast winds 5 to 10. And tomorrow, more of the same, partly sunny, still humid, still more showers and thunderstorms near 80. Sunday, a little warmer, a lesser chance of showers and thunderstorms. Sunday, a humid 85. Darian, a brief respite this afternoon, but stay tuned. We may have some more boomers a bit later on today.
No doubt. Thank you, Paul. Well, how would you...
Well, Mike is off today, Matt is off today, and Paul Huttner is in. Actually, he's out at Hazeltine, where I'm sure they've got their fingers crossed they don't get even a sprinkle.
Yes, they do indeed, Amy. They've had their share of water out here definitely for the past month or so. Right now I'm standing in front of some of the practice areas where the pros will have a chance to do some sand shot practice. Also, the driving range is back there behind me. And you notice they have some bleachers out here too, so you can also come out and watch the pros practice as well as play in between rounds here. And no doubt we're going to be inundated with news and sports coverage here from Hazeltine during the next week. But up until now, the big story has been the weather. And Chris Haig has been nice enough to join me here. He's the course superintendent out here at Hazeltine, and it's his job to make sure the course is in the best possible playing condition for the Open. And Chris, we know that your job has been a difficult one during May and the early part of June, but Mother Nature really smiling on you here during the last week. Bring us up to date. Where do we stand right now in terms of both the playing conditions on the course, the spectator areas, and the parking areas for that matter?
You know, from the grounds condition standpoint, you know, we went through our worst time where we had 8 inches of rain in about a six-day period. A week and a half ago, we were really, you know, worried. We had we'd lost 50% of our parking areas. Those now are back up to 100%. As far as golf course conditions go, we got in about 20 hours of helicopter time to help dry out some of our worst areas. So as of today, our fairway conditions are firm where we want them. In fact, they're rolling a little bit faster even in the fairway areas than what we thought they would be. And we've been asked maybe to slow the fairways down just a little bit. Our green conditions are really getting fast and firm. We're stent metering for speed, all in the 12 to 12.6 range, which is right exactly where we want to be. Golf course is just truly firmed up well, and there's really not a spot out there right now that somebody even has to walk around. So
that's
we're right
wonderful.
where we should be.
That's great. Now I know all the rainy weather, the mosquitoes we've had have been tenacious, and they're bad in my backyard. It looks like some good habitat out here. Have you been doing anything about that, or should people bring out some insect repellent as well?
Well, it's always a good idea to bring out the repellent, but 2 times over the last week, the course has been taken care of by the mosquito district. But because of the severe rains we had between 2 applications, we had a little more of an infestation. But I think over the next few days, they'll get cleaned up the rest of the way.
And if you had one weather wish for the next week, if I was a weather genie, what would your dream forecast be here for the next week at Hazeltine?
I'd say match exactly what we've had the last 3 days, 75 to 80, sunny, and dew points down low, and humidity maybe in the 40 to 50% range.
Okay, well,
we'd be smiling.
Chris, from what I've seen, you've done an excellent job out here. Thanks so much for coming out, and good luck the next week. Well, I think he's going to like the forecast then for the next few days. And today in the Twin Cities was another dry one, as we had a high temperature of 83 degrees as we look here at Hazeltine National. Our low was 62. And the big news, no precipitation in the Twin Cities today. That's good news out here and for farmers. Right now, skies are mostly cloudy here at Hazeltine, cloudy at the airport, 80 degrees, our dew point comfortable at 52, humidity 38%. We have a pretty good south breeze out here right now at 10, and our barometer is falling. Clouds during the day today. We started with sunshine, but you can see clouds streaming into the state of Minnesota. That's some moisture beginning to return, and they are leaking just a few sprinkles to the southwest of the Twin Cities. We have just a slight chance of a sprinkle here tonight. The reason things have been so comfortable today is the dew points. Look at that, low to mid 50s across eastern Minnesota. When the dew point hits 60, that's where it begins to get uncomfortable. Those 60s in the Dakotas are headed in here for tomorrow. And the weather map showing a cold front out to the west, that's going to pump up some more moisture, and it looks like tomorrow more humidity and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms. So for the Twin Cities, overnight tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies. It'll be breezy, it'll be mild, just a slight chance of a shower tonight. Our low about 65. For tomorrow, we'll see skies mixture, clouds and sunshine. It'll be warm, it'll be humid. There's a chance of a thunderstorm late. Our high tomorrow 85, and it will feel every degree. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night as that front comes through, and a good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some may be heavy tomorrow night. And then for Monday morning, showers, but becoming partly cloudy by afternoon, our high near 80. Now the extended outlook, Chris Haig and farmers all across Minnesota, I think, are going to like basically dry Tuesday through Thursday, and our highs warming to about 85 by next week. So Amy, all in all, a pretty good forecast. Once we get through the rain this weekend out here, things are looking dry for next week.
Okay, and that's from our weather genie, Paul Huttner.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Well, with all this attention to golf, we shouldn't forget Minnesota's true national sport, especially on Take a Kid Fishing Weekend.
Those storms were brief this morning, but they were intimidating as they came through.
I say we're a lot of lightning with them, and of course that's one of the big concerns for the golfers out at Hazeltine. Remember Lee Trevino getting struck quite a few years ago in Chicago.
And actually there were a couple of highways in the area that were underwater briefly too,
yes.
So that was a concern.
Brief heavy rains, we have so much moisture in the air, and we may have some more thunderstorms on the way. As a matter of fact, I'll show you in a moment on Doppler, they're already brewing. So most of the rounds are going to get in today, but they may have some problems a little bit later this afternoon. This is a live shot out at Hazeltine National right now. You can see they are getting some partial sunshine peeking through those high cirrus clouds we have across the Twin Cities right now. Our current conditions, partly sunny at Hazeltine and at the airport, temperature 85. That dew point is tropical. When it hits 70, it's oppressive. and it is at 70. 61% humidity, a south breeze at 12, but gusting higher out at Hazeltine, as Scott Reynolds told you, creating a bit of a test out there, and our barometer is falling. Well, here's the way things look for the rest of the afternoon at Hazeltine. It will be breezy, very warm and humid. Temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90 this afternoon, and there is a good chance of thunderstorms mid to late afternoon, those winds gusting up over 20 miles an hour at times today. Well, it is time today for the Thursday edition of Huttner's Weather Lexicon, and today, the northern lights, something we've been seeing a lot of lately. Those are those pulsating colored lights you see in the sky. They're caused by magnetic storms on the sun. Now here's what happens. The solar flares send out charged particles toward the Earth. That's called the solar wind. When it strikes the Earth, it reacts with the Earth's magnetosphere, more specifically the ionosphere, and that's what causes the northern lights. They can take on many appearances, the forms of arcs or rays, and they occur in the mesosphere, which is the third layer up in our atmosphere, and they can take on arcs or rays or bands or even crowns, and they're usually red or green. They're best seen away from city lights on dry and clear nights. The northern lights, aurora borealis. Well, here's a live look at our Doppler radar right now. We had those thunderstorms come through this morning. Those have moved off the map up towards Duluth, but just in the past few minutes, we're starting to get some more development. The atmosphere quite unstable. One storm right now forming between Cannon Falls and Zumbrota. This has some heavy rain and lightning with it. Another one just to the northwest of Plymouth and also west of Elk River. All of this activity moving to the north-northeast at about 30 miles an hour. Right now, we do have a risk area for severe weather this afternoon. The atmosphere is plenty unstable, folks. A moderate risk, which is about a 1 in 5 chance for severe weather, all the way up into southwestern Minnesota. That includes Redwood Falls, Mankato, and a slight risk for you folks in Alexandria, Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls, all the way down to the Twin Cities and over to Eau Claire. The atmosphere moderately unstable this afternoon. Here's one of the reasons why. The dew point's a lot of moisture you need for severe weather, and we have it today. Anytime the dew point hits 60, it's uncomfortable. When you get near 70, like we have in the Twin Cities, St. Cloud, and Brainerd, it's downright oppressive to tropical. That moisture also helps to fuel thunderstorms, get the atmosphere lifting and boiling. And it will do so again this afternoon. Here's why. Low pressure out to the west, a warm front right now, which stretches through the northern part of Iowa. And it's near and to the north of this front that I'm watching for more showers and thunderstorms to develop this afternoon. Some of those will make their way right up into the Twin Cities. So here's our forecast for the afternoon. Partly sunny, hazy, hot, and humid. Thunderstorms late, and I think for folks out at Hazeltine, you saw them developing on Doppler. Anytime after about 2 o'clock this afternoon, they could have a thunderstorm out there. 90 for the afternoon high. For tonight, we will see partly cloudy skies. It'll be warm and humid. Still a chance of thunderstorms. Our low tonight, a muggy 72 with a south wind. And then for tomorrow, once again a repeat, partly sunny, hazy, hot, humid. Thunderstorms are likely tomorrow. Our high, a steamy 91. Now I've given you the forecast in words. Let me show you what it should look and sound like in the Twin Cities later this afternoon and tonight. So once again, a little bumpy weather.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, Paul. In our Medicine at Noon segment, there's new hope that an AIDS vaccine will soon be on the horizon. It's a shot that toughens up the immune system, as Jeff Levine reports. He's had about 3 pictures in the last year and a half, and he's got 3 or 4 coming out. It's nice to see a young man like that who has great perspective about the whole thing and a lot of years of experience because he was a child actor on stage first. Great to see a young fellow like that have the kind of success Christian does. So. Yeah. Opens tomorrow in Robin Hood. Lots of folks waiting for that picture.
Certainly, and lots of folks interested at what's happening out at Hazeltine this afternoon.
Indeed.
Let's look at a live shot out there right now. You can see things looking almost a little bit threatening. There is some thunderstorms and showers beginning to develop quite rapidly this afternoon around southern Minnesota. The atmosphere very unstable. And if we take a look at our Doppler radar right now, you'll see what I'm talking about. Look at them. They're just starting to pop up all over the Twin Cities area. Right now, one shower just west of Chaska. It is just a shower. It is not a thunderstorm. But folks out at Hazeltine, I would say if you're listening now, anytime from now on through the rest of the afternoon, we could have a thunderstorm literally develop right overhead, so you're going to want to pay close attention to that. And if there are any watches or warnings, we will get them to you right away.
90 degrees in the shower, could be a little humid out there today.
Absolutely, with dew points near 70, that's the way it is.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Well, that about does it for this day on the News at Noon. We, of course, will be watching that weather for you. We'll bring it to you if anything happens, so stay tuned, and we'll see you tomorrow.